This poem's called Alone. I've been used, abused, and messed up. With no one to turn to, I've suffered alone. I have learned to deal with the toughest situations alone. I've sat in the corner of my room multiple times and cried. I asked for help, yet no one sees me, for I am invisible. They have changed the person I once was, stopped the way I once thought. My feelings and emotions come to a halt. I feel isolated. I've been loved, then left, messed around, then ignored, until I'm broken down into a useless piece of unnecessary flesh. My poems are mostly based off mental health, and it was a release, me expressing myself. It was releasing negative thoughts I had, like getting bullied and stuff. It was getting it down on paper, and it felt good after. Sometimes I can be in my room at 3 a.m, feeling really bad about myself. I'll be in tears, and the first thing I'll turn to is writing poems, and I don't get any support with them. This poem's called You've Picked Me Out. You have picked me out of a large crowd. You have me with my head bowed. You've picked me to torment out of all these people. Your words pierce my skin. It feels like a needle. Your affections affect the way I think. My heart suddenly begins to sink. By the time I get home, my head is a mess. It is up to my family to take a guess. I constantly feel like I am irrelevant. In the classroom, I am the elephant. Once again, you've picked me out. Sometimes you make me just want to shout. When I go to bed, I don't sleep. I sit in the dark and quietly weep. You've picked me out of a bunch. When I see you, I feel like I've been punched. Thank you. This poem is about bullying. This was a year ago, bullying I experienced. I didn't sleep for a week. I went to doctors and everything. I thought I had insomnia. And it turned out the stress was leading me down a path of sleep deprivation. I didn't eat for a few days. And this is the hardest poem I wrote. This is called In My Mind. In my mind, I spend most of my time. They ask how I am. I say I'm just fine. The darkness slowly seeps into my brain. I'm getting distressed, maybe I'm going insane. In my mind, I spend most of my days sitting, going through this painful phase, constantly questioning what life could have been if my dad didn't get up and flee the scene. In my mind, I spend most of my nights, sometimes too scared to turn off the lights, lying in bed, scanning my mind like I'm searching for something I cannot find. In my mind, I spend most of my life, it cuts me deep, feels like a knife. Time wasting, dwelling on the past. I must stop now, because life's moving fast. This poem, In My Mind, was written at 3 a.m. a few months back. It's based around my mental health and how I feel very low at times.
So we know this is a difficult time for you, but does anyone support you through this, or is there anyone you can talk to and help you figure out what's going on?
There's people that I do talk to in school. I have a counsellor. There's an LGBT ambassador. There's anti-bullying reps in the school. It is slowly getting better.
So what kind of advice does your counsellor give you?
Breathing methods. Breathing really help. Writing your thoughts on paper and then pulling it in the bin, that is a very good release, and it does help. The writing poetry does help with getting your feelings down, but also anything that's like drawing, painting, writing, anything, that sort of thing helps with a release. Even just writing your feeling on a piece of paper and ripping it up and putting it in the bin, that helps because it's a release and you feel like it's out of your head. Or even just sitting down and speaking to someone, that can help too.